I got your bitch. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. They are to be ashamed. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Goddamn right, bitch. Look at here. There you go. They're out here sharing marijuana. Look at here. There you go. The same old nasty ass people from last week. Corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Goddamn corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Goddamn right, bitch. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Dope. Goddamn right, bitch. Goddamn right, bitch. Goddamn right, bitch. Goddamn right, bitch. Corner doing dope. 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 Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Goddamn right, bitch. Look at here. There you go. They're out here sharing marijuana. Look at here. There you go. The same old nasty ass people from last week. Corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Goddamn corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Goddamn right, bitch. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Sitting on the goddamn corner doing dope. Corner doing dope. Dope. Goddamn right, bitch. Goddamn right, bitch. Goddamn right, bitch. Goddamn right, bitch. Corner doing dope. 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 Corner doing dope.
Hey, welcome back to hour number 3 of Barry on Deck. This is it. This is the special hour. This is the down ass motherfucker hour. This hour is brought to you by you. Yeah, ain't no sponsors for this hour. This is straight up for the Patreon, straight up for the Discord, for the peeps, for the fam. If you're here, you know what's up. If you ain't here, you missed it, bitch. Jerome had to drop for a second, but he will be back. A special, we get Jerome in hour number 3. What, fam? What? We're killing it. So I posted the link. I think I got the link up on the Discord. I definitely got it on the Patreon, I believe. Excuse me, a little burpity burp. And no more drinking, because I got to go to dinner with Jen and Nora. Yeah, the link is on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com, I don't know why I'm telling you guys, you're already fucking here. You found it. You know it's here. Should also have posted on the Discord. If not, somebody go post it for me. Would you? Would you please? Hey, come one more time. Can we all wish? Happy birthday, Cece. God damn it. I love you, baby girl. Please be safe driving to Austin. I hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow. I'm not doing another shot. I'm already 3 sheets to the wind and be drinking tonight. Yes, all the cool kids are here. And Jerome Solomon is going to join us later, and I'm sure he will say mean things to me about how dumb I am. So Christopher Mina said, where are y'all eating? We are, okay, I'll tell you guys, because you're the special crew. I can't just blurt it out publicly. So you guys, the folks that own Dan's Seafood and Wings, that own Crab Kings, well, a couple of them, that own the Boiling Dragon, and there was another one that they did for like a hot minute, and they were like, nah, fuck that place, just do these. So those folks also own a restaurant called 93 Till. It is a hip hop, I guess it's a 90s, it's a restaurant whose theme is to play 90s hip hop music while you eat upscale dining. Yeah, so look, that's the thing. Not all the Crab Kings are associated with these folks. It's like saying like every McDonald's is owned by the same person. Not necessarily. These guys own a couple of Crab Kings, but they don't own all the Crab Kings. So not every Crab Kings that you go to is actually supporting the show, just so we're clear. What's up, House? What's up, Housey with the Wousey? So I did tell you about it. Yeah, 93 till is going to be pretty dope. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to do that. So I got you. Yeah, so we're gonna do that, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring you 93 till and Dan's at the same time. But I'm looking forward to it's gonna be dope. We're gonna be hanging out with Jen and Nora, and I don't know, maybe some other folks show up. We'll see what happens. Hour number 3, we get kind of weird. How many of you? This is just now serious question. How many of you have never been here for an hour 3? True story. How many of you, raise your hands, put a hand up in the chat, put a me. How many of you, this is your first hour 3 that you've joined us for Barry on Deck? I'm curious. What's up, Titan Hugo? So does that mean we can crash the party? No, please don't. I will be doing business. Please don't crash the party. I will be trying to pitch, maybe I'll be trying to finagle, sponsorships. Maybe I'll be trying to finagle TV ads. Maybe I'll be trying to finagle other things. Yeah, don't crash the party. That would be weird. Like I don't just fucking randomly show up to places you are. Weirdo. Love you, Titan Hugo. Don't be a fucking weirdo. BB said he went to the wrong Crab Kings. That's not good. That's not good at all. Is the Discord offline? I don't believe that's the case. I think you're making shit up, Flip. I think you're lying, Flip, you goddamn liar. Let's see. No, it's online. And the link should be there. Yeah, there's the link. Hour number 3. Shut up, Flip. You don't know what you're doing. You know who does know what he's doing? My guy, my buddy, my pal. And we get him specially for hour number 3. Damn it, I got to put your fancy background up. I made you this, Jerome. I wanted your segments to look special. I was like, Jerome's my guy. Why are you rolling your eyes at me? You know what? Fine. We'll just go back to, plain ass, black ass background Jerome. Huh? How's that feel? Look, fancy? Not fancy.
See, if I was into the cancel culture,
why is the black
ass, plain ass black ass?
Why is the plain ass black ass background?
That's where we gonna start with my plain black ass. That's where you gonna start.
No,
and
what?
Trying to get sponsors.
Actually, if you were cancel culture, you'd be like, why you got to change the background from black to white? We was here. Now we're here. You didn't like all the black? Okay.
Every time I'm on the TV set, they come. Let's do a white balance. They don't give a damn about no black and brown balance. They do white balance. I'm like, so really? Funny. Y'all just going to insult me? I'm here.
I'm right here.
Just like a white cell. Why you got a white cell?
Why is there never a black cell?
Where's the black cell? Huh? When we gonna be invited to the party?
How come we not? How come we don't have? See, yeah. Why don't we get
hoodwink? I'm sorry. Don't get me started.
Why can't I just go buy some black sheets on sale for cheap? I never understood the white cell.
White sheep black, sheep white. What's wrong with the black sheep?
There's nothing wrong with a black sheep. Don't start with me. I've had a lot to drink today because it's Crystal Collins' birthday. Do you know who Crystal Collins is? Jerome?
Happy birthday, Crystal.
Yeah, she's the
girl.
She's not only the queen bee. She's not only the queen bee spice. She's CC. Yeah, she's actually the, I don't know, is it the president, CC, or whatever, of the Dallas Cowboys fan club here in Houston, which I learned, bro, everybody in this fucking city knows CC. They're like, oh yeah, because like that group literally has 10,000 members in this town.
Well, Dallas Cowboys are huge. I
they
grew
really
up a
are.
Cowboys fan. So
Did you really?
I know how that can be. Yeah.
Now, you're a Houstonian though, right, Jerome? You were born and raised here?
Yes.
Why did you grow up a Cowboys fan?
Well, they were good. But no, my grandmother lived in Dallas. So,
oh, okay.
So my grandmother lived in Dallas, so she would come, she'd come to town and bring me all Cowboy stuff, and she'd buy me, Cowboy weekly magazine subscription and everything. So yeah, me and my little brother, we were Cowboys fans.
Did you hate like the Oilers or other teams? Because the only reason, like, I grew up, I was an Oilers fan, which was a miserable existence to be. But I hated the Cowboys, not because I really was invested in hating the Cowboys. It's just because my cousin and my uncle were Cowboys fans, and they were literally the most two obnoxious people I've ever seen in my whole life when it came to football. They were just the fucking worst.
I didn't hate the Oilers. I felt sorry for them. You know, it was a sad existence for them. You know, wearing those little, powder puff blue uniforms and can't win no big games.
Listen,
you know how it goes.
Earl made them pants look good, though.
The biggest celebration was for losses. I mean,
we're gonna kick that door down. If your best moment in team history is coulda, shoulda, woulda, next year
for you.
Oh,
but
next.
No, I like the Oilers. I mean, I wasn't one of those weirdos who, are against the Oilers. But I'm a sports fan, so I like more of certain particular teams in certain years, certain individuals.
Yeah.
As much as anything, just rooted more for the Cowboys than anybody else. Like, I didn't even hate the Steelers.
Really?
Wanted the Cowboys beat them, but had full respect for what they could do. I mean,
listen, I didn't hate the Steelers until the catch no catch Mike Renfro, which basically was the catalyst for replay in the NFL. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, that's why they came with it after that.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, it was a close play. It was a tough call.
Yeah,
and it's not like it cost the Oilers the game.
Well, it's not like it cost them a Super Bowl. They weren't winning the Super Bowl. The Oilers.
They could have won the Super Bowl.
They were that good. I don't remember. I mean, dude, I was young, but I mean, I remember. I just remember that play.
No. It's very similar to Chris Paul. Not been injured. The Rockets beat.
Gotcha. It's the hamstring year.
The next game. Yeah, it's similar to that. I mean, the Steelers. The Steelers were good. The 2 years that the Oilers lost to the Steelers in the conference championship game, the Steelers beat the Cowboys and the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
The Oilers beat the Cowboys during the season.
So they were there. They were just
in Dallas.
Snake bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So they could have won Super Bowl. They ain't no
typical Houston story.
And unlike all of the Texans were, oh man, what could have the Texans hadn't been to the game before the game. I mean they haven't won, nothing. The Oilers at least got to the conference championship where they were one win away. The Steelers dominated them.
Yeah.
But that game you're talking about with the Renfro catch, it was third quarter.
Yeah, there was still time left.
I think it would have given, may have given the Oilers a lead or something. They still have a lot of football left to play, but it was a huge play.
It was a big momentum. Isn't that weird? Like, dude, that was 80.
That's 79.
I was 5 or 6, and literally that is literally my very first sports moment in my life. Like, do you remember your first sports moment? Because that's literally mine. I remember laying on the living room floor watching the game and my parents losing their shit because they're like, he called it. That's my first sports moment in my life. Do you remember yours? What was it?
I don't think about that one. I don't know.
Yeah?
I don't know. Probably Brian's song. The movie.
God, that's so sad,
first sports moment. That was huge. You had to live in that time to know how big that was.
There are a bunch of youngsters in this chat that watch this show. I'm going to tell you, all you youngsters right now, do me and Jerome a solid. Go watch the movie Brian's Song and then lie to us and say you didn't cry because y'all a bunch of raggedy bitches. Y'all gonna cry.
They're not gonna lie. They'll be like, man, I fell asleep in the first 40 minutes. We were sitting there smoking.
Young ass kids. Bro,
they smoke now.
Oh yeah.
Used to be illegal. There used to be some standards in America. Everybody wasn't smoking. Everybody wasn't high.
Everybody wasn't on the Percocets. I was talking about that earlier. Dude, I've never done any other drugs than weed. I did say I wanted to do Molly. Like, I would try X, Molly, MDA, whatever. That seems like it would be a cool one to do. But the rest of that shit, I don't want to fuck with that.
A hit and a half of how the world has changed on that is, I was listening to the Blitz, and I know you were on there last night. He may have done, but he probably didn't do it with you because he knows you. But the guy that was on there early in the week, the question of the day as they were going to break was, do you smoke weed? Well, have you answer when we come back. I'm like, People used it was a silent. You couldn't talk about that kind of
No.
on the radio. On the radio. I mean, that's like, hey man, you rob banks. We'll get the answer when we
You ever
come
killed
back.
somebody? Yeah.
Are you a rapist? Come back.
I mean, dude.
Okay, those are different kind of crimes.
But
But
still.
there's people in jail. There's people in the same prison for all of them.
Yes. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, we can talk freely. I mean, on this show, Fred and I talked about smoking weed on the Blitz yesterday, and it's like nobody bats an eye. I mean, yeah, it's still not legal technically, but no one gives a shit that you talk about that stuff now. It's a lot has changed in that
A
regard
lot
for
has
sure.
indeed changed. So yeah, and I think the youngsters are smoking like crazy and taking, edibles and whatever, and it's way more potent than it used to be too.
Yeah.
It used to be like just there was good weed and bad weed.
Yeah,
Now
that
it's
was
like,
it, dude.
532 brands.
Yeah, dude, there wasn't
They
fucking
want
names.
weed.
You either got skunk weed or weed. That was it.
Right,
There wasn't
yeah.
no other fucking names. That
And
was
the
it.
leftover buds. You're like, well, hell, we'll roll that too.
Yeah, I'll try to smoke them seeds. I don't give a shit. Put a stem in there, like,
You
bro.
put them together. Well, no, I'm not do that.
How did you do that? Oh snap, bro! Dave Landau, a guy I just worked with last week, does a great joke about that. He's like, "Man, my kids now they go to Walgreens and buy weed." He's like, "I'm gonna be telling my kid because he has a son that's like 4 years old." He's like, "I can just see my conversation be like, back in my day, we used to have to page our drug dealer 911 and 420, and we had to do it 10 times because he wouldn't answer. And then you had to drive to a shady neighborhood and roll your window down, and they would go caw caw, and you would go and then you got sold a dime bag for $12 that was mostly stems and seeds and fish food, bro. It is
You couldn't complain.
It's so accurate though. Like
It
that
was what it was.
Could you?
Now they walk in the store like it's a grocery store in California and Colorado, places like that.
It's a shop. It's a shop.
And it'll be here in Texas. Now, Michael Che and I'm not even a huge Michael Che fan, but man, he has a little bit in his stand-up that's just hilarious. He's like, the economy is awful. It's just terrible because the economy is bad when they're legalizing weed because it's when things are really going awful for you money-wise, you go, you know what? We ought to just start selling some weed. That's what we need to do. Start selling some weed.
The government's like, damn,
like,
what are we going to
good
do to make
point.
money? Well, we can always sell weed.
We can always sell some dope.
That's outstanding. I'm so mad when I don't think of those bits. They're just, dude, that's the smart shit to say.
I was messing with my boy Bomani Jones about a piece and Bomani writes. He's a really talented writer.
Yeah.
Limited in terms of what he writes, what he can write about, and he writes rarely. Like he doesn't write. He's not a writer, but he can write.
Yeah.
And he wrote this thing about Prince. He wrote it a couple years ago, but I hadn't seen it, and I read it, and I messed with him. I was like, dude, you used some lines in there that I know I was going to use for something one day, and you just fucked it all up by throwing them in this thing. Now, I can't even use them because it's
so
like
good.
I stole them from you. I was going to come up with them. I'm sure. You beat me to it. And I know you get that with comedy. You're like, I would have thought of that joke.
Eventually, I would have got there. But you beat me to it by 3, 4, probably 5 years. But I would have got to it eventually. Oh, that's the worst. And that's the sign of a really good writer, the sign of a really good comedian, sign of somebody that's really good at their job is when you hear something that they say and you're like, how has nobody thought of that before? Because it's so obvious. It's been right there.
So obvious, but
this
it's still
entire
so
time.
unique and so
Yes.
original.
Yes.
I mean, when Paul Mooney died here a few weeks ago, I watched a lot of those tributes and a lot of people talk about him and saw a lot more of his stuff that I had seen in a while. And man, he went places where nobody was gonna go there. A whole lot of people thought it, but weren't bold enough to go there. And he would go there just raw. And it was just hilarious.
Paul Mooney didn't give a shit. Like Paul Mooney was going to be Paul Mooney. And that's what you respected most about him was like, you may not like me. You may not think I'm funny, but you're never going to accuse me of being fake, a phony, or not myself. Like he was going to tell you what he thought.
Level, he used to try to make people leave his show. Like,
and that's probably why Paul Mooney wasn't like a Richard Pryor, wasn't at that level. I mean, he was just as talented in many respects, but
he was mean.
He wasn't as likable.
It's a funny mean, but he was still mean. I mean, when he dialed it back and talked to you, great, but boy,
did you know him? Did you meet him? Did you talk to him?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, dude, what an honor.
I've seen him in interviews and stuff where you can see his interaction. It's not all an act at all. It's just he allowed his act to be all that he was, and even some of the worst of him in terms of he's like, listen, I'm gonna bring this. I'm not pulling no punches. I don't care what anybody thinks about it.
Yeah.
And most of you comedians, y'all are kind of mentally ill. You're narcissistic, but you're afraid of people not liking you. So,
oh my God. That's why you do what you do as a comic.
Joke tellers and your ass kissers at the same time.
Yes, it's so true.
It's hard. That's what makes it so challenging, because very few people are funny enough to even be a comedian. Then you have to have lived some life to be able to put those experiences into something, but also have the ability to go, if I move this word here, if I take this word out, it's way funnier.
Yeah.
And people that don't study it don't understand how you and another comedian can be talking about a joke and you're like, man, oh, that word is way funnier than this word.
Yeah.
Like, how is a word funnier? Well, it is, because
they're the expert. Literally flipping two words or flipping sentences in a multi-sentence joke and taking the third sentence and making it the first sentence and the first sentence the third can make the joke go from to a killer joke or fix a bad joke.
And you never stop tweaking it.
No, there's a science to it. You never stop tagging. You never
won awards for, and I read them now and I go, oh man, I should have put it this way. I should have moved that sentence here. Man, I can't believe I wrote that. And everybody's like, what a great piece it was, but I'm still trying to change it.
That's it. I mean, once you think something's done, that's when you failed as a writer or a comic, right? Like, I mean, you have a deadline. Like, okay, I've got this idea for a joke, or I've got this idea for an article, and I'm going to sit down and write it, or I'm going to sit down and do the joke. But then you're constantly, like, for comics, for me at least, it's not necessarily always tweaking the order, because once I find what I like, then it's about how can I tag the joke? How can I add to the joke? How can I make it even funnier?
Where do you put it in the set? And, how do you enter it? What do you leave after it?
Exactly.
Is that the walk off? Because I listen to,
you're a comedy nerd. You won't admit it. You're a comedy nerd though, aren't you? Like you study, you watch. Time. Yeah.
And I mean, I ride around in the car on Sirius XM, listen to almost nothing but comedy, because life is hard for a black man in America. You can't laugh.
With several TV shows and a senior columnist.
Everything from it, Barry. They can't take my jokes. You understand?
Can't take my dick jokes.
They take my jokes. My dick or my jokes.
Okay. I didn't need that second. Oh my God.
That's the Rich Pryor. Why black man walk around holding this stuff? Hell, they took everything else.
Somebody said Paul Mooney wrote for Pryor. Yeah, he was well known to have collaborated and wrote for Pryor. Which is why, again, Mooney would have been, he could have been. I don't think, nobody would have ever have been Pryor, because Pryor was a great writer.
And that knowledge, and wrote some of Richard's best jokes.
Yeah.
But Richard
had the personality, the likability.
Those two had they've got that physical talent that they can make a bad joke funny.
Yes,
with their talent.
Somebody,
a lot of people can't do that.
Somebody said this, and like I don't, because we were talking shop one day with a bunch of comics, and one of the newer comics was like, I love like what Pryor did, but I don't understand why he's the greatest. And then other people were talking, and the point was, somebody said the point was that what Pryor did that nobody else had really ever done before is everything in the joke had its own voice. Like when he talked about getting set on fire, or when he caught himself on fire, you got his perspective in the joke, But you got the fire's perspective in the joke. He became the fire and he talked shit to himself as the fire. That is so next level and meta and amazing. And people try to do that shit to this day and can't do it.
Well, yeah, no,
that's why he was the greatest.
My initial thought on that would have been to that question, why is he the greatest? Especially in that context is, well, he was the very first to do all that he did in the way that he did it.
Yeah.
Fact. I mean, as raw as he was. I mean,
dirty, but you weren't offended.
It's not the dirty. It's the thoughts, the things that he brought in, the personal stuff, the world, telling stories.
I grew up in a whorehouse. My mom was a madam. Yeah.
He was the first one to do it. But what makes him the greatest is not only was he the first one to do it, he could do that today and it still hold. It's that strong.
Yeah.
And the best of the best coming after him, many of them are doing the exact same thing that he did. You know, I mean, and I'm talking great comedians. I'm not acting like they stole his act. I'm saying they're doing what he did. That's how good he was at doing it, that he did it first when he was the original. No one else had ever done it like that.
Well, put it this way.
And that goes with like George Carlin. Nobody had ever done comedy like that before. And there are dozens of guys doing George Carlin now. And like I say, I'm not saying they're stealing from him. I'm saying they're doing his style of comedy. He started that. And he was better at it than everybody.
So the difference to me between like a Carlin and a Pryor, and why Pryor is and will probably always be the greatest because he was such an innovator, like you said, is nowadays when you get advice as a young comic or a new comic like myself at one point, or if I'm giving advice to a guy that's 6 months or a year in, do you know what we always say or hear? Go up and tell your story. Go up, because there's nothing more funnier or better in this world than your uniqueness. Yeah, you can go up and tell a generic, oh, I was flying on an airplane and the food was bad. Who gives a fuck? Tell your story, be you, and the crowd will accept it, and it'll be so much funnier because it will be so unique. And that's the Pryor formula. Nobody was doing that before. I mean, nobody was going on stage after smoking crack and their mom's a madam at a airplane. Yeah.
And the baby's crying on the airplane. Shut the baby up.
Yeah.
Everybody says that joke.
Yeah.
That's not even a joke.
Right.
Non-comedians say that. Oh, so and that's the difference between people who are funny. I think I can be kind of funny sometimes, and professional comedians.
Yeah.
I can be funny about things that I see, that I live even, but it's the same thing that other people see and live. Mm-hmm. And I may do it a little funnier or whatever. Professional comedians, just a pros. It's the, I'm an amateur quarterback. I can throw.
Sure.
Yeah, but you ain't
dropping a dime in between two defenders. Yeah.
You can throw it 50 yards. You ain't Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I can throw it 50 yards. I ain't nowhere near a pro.
Yeah. Hal said cancel culture is not real and comedy is a crutch. Look, there is though. I mean, it is a new era, there is a difference in comedy, right? Like doing it now versus doing it even 20 years ago, 10 years ago. But
it always changes. But I think it is exaggerated because it's part of a whole bunch of these jokers act. Dave Chappelle, I've never been a huge fan of his stand-up.
Really?
The show was awesome. His stand-up's a little above average to me. It ain't killer. He's smart and he's got some fun stuff, but he doesn't really do it for me. But the last couple ones he did, he's like, oh, this cancel culture stop you from saying jokes like the next 5 I'm about to say.
And then he does them.
What you talking about?
I literally do a joke on stage. I have a 5 minute. Yeah, but I'm going to say it. I do a 5-minute bit about being fat. And I'm not fat. I mean, I'm chubby, right? But I'm talking about doing fat jokes.
We do truth here, or we just... my bad. I'm sorry. Go, my bad.
Was that a yes/no question?
Fuck
you, Jerome. I hate you so much.
You was making a point.
Anyways, what I do all these fat jokes, and even when I was weighing 170, I was doing these fat jokes that I wrote when I was 220, right? But I do them, and then literally at the end, I say, look, a lot of you pull back. I know how comedy works. I have to tell you guys I used to be fat before I do those jokes. Otherwise, you're like, this guy's a fucking asshole just up there doing fat jokes, right? And I let that marinate for a minute, and I kind of explained why I did it. But then I followed up with, anyway, so I used to be black, and like that whole turn, and it's like, that's the whole point of comedy today. Is it's like we get it. There are things you can't go up on stage as a white guy and be like, I used to be black, but I'm going to tell you that, knowing I shouldn't tell you that, but that's the joke now.
You got to
crazy.
build,
it's so
build
meta.
the audience to it. And and there are a whole bunch of guys out there who are just absolutely, guys, women too, are absolutely not anywhere near being politically correct at all.
No.
And they're not being canceled. They're just out there doing their shows and making a killing, telling disgusting jokes, sick jokes. Some of them are so bad and hilarious, but really, really
offensive. Like,
I mean, like, if
but it's all in the setup, Jerome.
If cancel culture that existed, these people would be getting canceled.
But there is also
people have been run out of business before for not being good.
Yeah,
there are very few people getting run out of business, for being good, too funny. That's not happening. And the cancel thing over, I mean, if you're a rapist, you should be getting canceled. You should be locked up somewhere. If you're sexually assaulting somebody, that ain't canceled. That's called,
it's a crime.
Criminal justice.
Yeah, that's criminal justice culture. That's called the crazy thing is though, there is a difference, right? Because there used to be insult comics. There used to be like, did you ever watch Lisa Lampanelli? Have you ever seen her comedy?
Lisa. Oh, you haven't heard talking about Lisa? I love Lisa.
She would come out.
Show on ESPN 975.
Oh, she was?
Yes.
Dude.
Right. We used to bring Lisa Lampanelli.
How many times did she reference your big black dick on ESPN?
Bro, we had to dump her every 5 seconds. It was hilarious.
She's super, but she can't do that now, Jerome.
People would call for the next hour talking about how disgusted they were.
This is the worst thing ever. And if she comes back, I'll listen again.
How great it was. Yes. One dude was like, man, you're a traitor to the black race, having that racist woman on.
That racist white bitch. Does she really fuck black people, though?
Dude, she gonna get me laid tonight. I don't know what you're talking about.
But see, Lisa, like, she can't do her act today. There's just no way.
That's not true. She did
that
a couple years ago.
She don't do it anymore, though.
But that has nothing to do with can't do her act. No, she
would say words that are deemed offensive that are like she would say words, and she would never say the N word. But
I'd have to
like,
look it up. Her last special was within the last few years, the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh, really?
It hasn't been that long, and it's not. She didn't quit because of that. I don't remember why she quit. But no, Lisa Lampanelli could do her act. There are people doing it now. It's not I mean, she's brutal to homosexuals, blacks. I mean, Latino. But
what she did though,
it's a joke because she's a comedian. That's what
and what she did is
Jew because my name is Solomon. My love is black Jew. It was hilarious.
So great. Yeah. She's like, oh, you and Sammy Davis Jr. How amazing. Just 2 unicorns in an America full of non-black Jews. But that's the kind of comic that she was. But what was important to note about her in her set is that she let you know. See, it's funny because in comedy, it's always about where does the joke land and who does the joke land on, and what's the spirit of the joke. Right. So she would be like, yeah, I'm married to a black dude. I love big black dick. I don't like his terrible credit score, right? Like, and then she would just go off. But what she did is kind of what I was telling you about the premise. Like, yeah, I used to be fat. And then I tell you 5 minutes worth of fat jokes, even though I'm not fat anymore. She lets you know, hey, before I say all this offensive, stereotypical stuff about black people, you guys should know I'm on your side. These are just jokes.
And the key is not only that it's just jokes. Everybody can claim something as a joke.
Sure.
After they say it. The key is she's making fun of people who think that way.
Yes.
not fun of the
True.
you know.
And she's doing it across the
she's having
board.
fun.
She's
Yeah,
making
she's
fun
having
of
fun.
white
Like,
girls, black girls, white dudes, black dudes, Hispanic chicks, herself.
Nobody is.
Nobody was off limits. I mean, it wasn't like my favorite form of comedy because I actually like your boy Arnez J. Guys, like that's silly, crazy, next level, high
Kinda
energy,
wacky thing.
fun, funny comedy. Just, that's the shit I love. I grew up on Def Jam.
Guys like what's his first name? I think he's English. His last name is Carr. Maybe Jimmy Carr or something.
Yes.
He's way over the line on some stuff. And Giselle Nick
Oh
is
my
just
God.
disgusting with half of his stuff. But you know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, you know what
where
it
he's
is.
going with it. And it's hilarious.
Yeah. It's so risky.
I mean, hell, some of the bigger names. What's the I wouldn't have brought up. I could say her, a good-looking blonde, really, really attractive.
Nikki Glazer?
Nikki's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's all sex.
Eliza Schlesinger?
Eliza, would you say she'd have gotten canceled if she used the N-word on the show? She did.
Yeah.
No, she did, and she didn't.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
and I mean, it's one of her stand-ups. I mean, it's one of her specials.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, Ralphie May used to use it all the time.
And it wasn't even in a good context.
Really? It wasn't like you can't say like it wasn't that.
No, she just threw it out there. Like she literally threw. You'd have to hear it. She just literally threw it out there in part of a, she was speaking like some guy
and used it.
She didn't clarify that she was even speaking like a black guy. She was just saying, "This is what the guy said," and
blah blah blah.
The N-word up there, and I was like,
"Wow, that's bold."
It stood out to me, but it didn't bother me.
That's a bold strategy. Like I'm not. I would never.
She hadn't done it again.
Well, like Neil Brennan, who wrote for Chappelle, did that in one of his specials. He was like, "Oh yeah, I feel like I got a pass. Brennan, I wrote for," and he said it on stage several times.
And his comedy does that, but he hangs around number brothers, But he also dogs himself for being white.
Yeah,
and dogs everybody.
Now, okay, let me ask you that. So I brought this up on the Sports Right show, and I don't think you and I have talked about this yet, but Christopher Harder is a guy I have every Tuesday. He has the Whiskey Neat podcast on ESPN, and he does the Houston Bourbon Society. Brought to my attention a dude named, I don't remember the dude's name. He's a singer, songwriter. And he wrote a song called Give a Break. And he's a white guy. And he put this song out, and it has millions of views. And the song is just about a struggle. It's about his struggle. It's about his life. And the chorus happens to be, give him a break. Like, I'm going through all these problems. Give me a break.
Why he got to be an N and he ain't got to be an MF? Like, why,
That's exactly right. So you go to this. I'll send you the link. I'm so curious of what because even Wesley
didn't give a punk ass bitch a break.
Right. Give a cracker a break. Like, right. But Wrestling was like, send it to Billy D and see what he thinks. And I thought, I'm going to send it to Jerome and see what he thinks. So I'm going to send it to you. I'm curious. Maybe we can talk about it next week as homework. But
I don't even need to. That's no.
Jerome, no. I'm telling you, when you go to the comments section, 95% of the comments are black people being supportive. Man, I feel this song in my bones. What an appropriate word and way to use it. It identifies our struggle. I'm here for it. He's invited to the cookout. I was like, what the fuck? He white? Huh?
They know he white then.
He's white as fuck. You see, he's literally singing it. You see it.
Barry, half the people listening to you think you black.
Did you see Did you see that picture I posted from my high school? I need to show you this picture.
This ain't that stupid tuxedo one you used to carry around.
No, this was I posted. It was from Utopia Club. I can't find it now. I'll show it to you. It was just me and like a bunch of black people in high school, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
I saw this movie.
But even then, I was
up at 3:00 the other night in the morning and saw this movie that I hadn't seen before, and one of the characters made me think of you.
What movie was it?
It's called 10 Years.
10 years.
And so it's like 10 years ago. I don't know how I never even heard of it. It's like 10 years ago, and it had a whole bunch of the huge 20-something-year-old stars at that time from 10 years ago in it. I mean, I'm bad with names, but you'll know, pull it up and you'll know the names of the people that were in it. But one of the dudes was, and it was 10 years was called because it was a 10-year high school reunion.
Uh-huh.
And so one of the white dudes hung out with nothing but the brothers back in school.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's called 10 Years Later.
Is it later? Is it? Okay.
10 Years Later, is that it?
That might be it. What's the cast? The cast
Jake
is like,
Hoffman.
No, that's
Rachel
not big
Boston.
No, that's not
one
it.
of these.
That's not it. Look up 10 years.
Okay, let's. I'm on IMDb.
It's just,
10 years.
Just Google movie 10 years, Barry.
Yeah, I'm on IMDb. Was it 2011? Does that sound about right? I know
you ain't the brightest because where you
Channing Tatum, Rosario Dawson, Chris Pratt,
so,
Jenna Dewan. Damn, this is a loaded ass.
Exactly. It's got a bunch of stars.
Yeah,
20-something stars from back then. And
okay.
One dude was you.
Look, Jerome. I've done this on the show, but he was
a breakdancing, rapping fool.
Listen, don't you discount my time on the step team, bro. All right, I was pretty good.
I don't know why I don't have your rap name committed to memory.
Boom boom.
Boom boom boom.
All right, you ready? You want to see Boom Boom for real? See if you can find me,
dude. You need to watch this movie. That's Vanilla Ice up in this. Damn, Barry.
Oh, yeah, that was high school, bro. That was
all these years I've been joking about you being that because it's funny, but now I feel bad because it's true.
You didn't think I was about that life, did you? You didn't think I lived that life, did you?
I thought you was actually cool, Barry.
You thought I was cool?
I didn't know you
this
white.
Makes me not cool now.
This makes you just white now. You're the only white person.
Somebody was like, "God damn, look at him. He blends in with the wall."
That's hilarious.
This was Miss Lee. And this was
flat top and everything.
Man, had that fade. Had that high top fade. This was called the Utopia Club. The point of this was to promote racial harmony at Jersey Village High School. As you can see, no one really gave a fuck. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of racial or harmony in this picture.
You represent the dark side.
I just that literally
Did you
popped.
Ever make a speech said, I want to speak to all my brothers and sisters.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, black folks in the room, can I have your attention? The struggle. They were like, shut the fuck up.
I got to go off that, Barry. That's too much.
Gotta bounce. All right, man. I appreciate. Oh shit, it's already been an hour, Jerome. You just did the whole hour. I really appreciate you. Jerome Solomon brought to you by the AP Law Group. Hey, we got to tell the people, June 19th, we're back, baby.
Next Saturday night, Barry will be on my show, Houston Sports Show,
yes.
CW39 at 10 o'clock Saturday night.
Tune in.
We might put together a big watch party somewhere. Y'all can come out and check us out.
We need to do that.
It's gonna be good stuff.
I'm excited about it.
It's Barry in one of his better elements. He took to TV pretty quickly.
Well, thanks.
But you really I mean, other than the weight thing, because the camera adds 38 pounds to Barry.
Apparently, I'm gonna go jog right after this segment. Thank you so much.
Run to Dallas. It's back.
Fuck you, Jerome.
You'll be ready for next Saturday.
I hate you because you don't even. Oh man, I hate you. I can't wait till you get fat one day. You raggedy. Oh, dude, put him down, man. Don't nobody want to see that. That's why you wear that big ass shirt. That's probably a medium too. That's what's disgusting about that. Hey man, as always,
all bones, baby, all bones,
all bones and bone. I appreciate you doing this, man. Thank you so much. I guess I'll see you Wednesday when we shoot. Don't forget June 19th, Houston Sports Show, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That is Jerome Solomon. That is hour number 3 of Barry on Deck. We are done, folks. That is a wrap. Man, that wasn't even really supposed to happen. Where's my outro shit at? I done lost my goddamn outro. Oh, there it goes. Jerome Solomon brought to you by the AP Law Group. If you have been injured in an accident, struck by an 18-wheeler or a car, or you've had somebody in your family or a loved one or a friend been killed by someone that shouldn't have done it. I don't know if that makes sense. Call them AP Law Group, 713-913-GO-AP. Hit them up online at aplawgroup.com. Love them. Love their support of the show and the Jerome Solomon segment. Hey, what a week, kids. What a ride. Hey, Reyes, I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. I'm in San Antonio. If you're out that way, Cisco, come catch the show. Good times had by all. Thank you guys for being here for hour number 3. Thank you guys for being members of the Patreon. Thank you guys for being members of the Discord. Thank you guys for being deckheads. Thank you guys for being friends. Thank you guys for supporting me and this show. I love you to death, Cece. Happy birthday, my queen. Hey, until Monday, unless you're Chris Reyes or Cisco, I will see you then. Do me 3 favors like I always ask. Be safe, be kind. Don't fuck around on the Discord, that's for, and love each other. See you on Monday. Daddy's making a YouTube video!